I smiled through every joke they made about my failures at my own brother's engagement dinner. They laughed. I swallowed the hurt year after year of being the family disappointment. My brother smirked and my mother nodded like it was fact. Then his fiancée leaned closer and whispered two words that stopped every heartbeat at the table. Even my mother froze. What she said next destroyed every lie they'd told about me. Don't stop watching. This ending will leave you in tears. My name is Lauren Hayes, and in my family, names only mattered if they came with titles people could brag about. Realtor, broker, investor, anything solid, predictable, and profitable. Mine never did. It floated around like background noise, acknowledged only when someone needed a contrast. The engagement dinner was in a private room downtown with dark wood walls and soft lighting designed to make everyone look successful. White tablecloths, heavy silverware, and a server refilling glasses before anyone asked. My parents loved places like this. They believed the room you sat in said more about you than anything you could explain. I sat 2 chairs from my brother Nathan, close enough to hear every quiet joke, far enough to be left out. He looked relaxed and confident, already practicing the role of future patriarch. People leaned toward him and laughed harder at his words. My parents watched him with relief mixed with pride, the same expression they'd worn my whole life. No one asked how I was, not really. When someone glanced my way, my mother filled the space. "Lauren's still figuring things out," she said gently, like smoothing a wrinkle only she could see. My father added something about patience, how not everyone was built for real pressure. They smiled as if being generous. I focused on the table, the candle flickering, the faint smell of charred steak and pepper, and the hum of conversations from outside. These details grounded me. I'd learned that staying still meant people talked as if I wasn't there. Nathan's fiancée, Claire, sat across from me. She didn't dominate, she observed. When my parents spoke, she listened without interrupting. When Nathan talked about work, she asked questions that made him slow down. Her eyes moved carefully, taking in tone more than words. At one point, my father joked about my different path. The table laughed politely. I felt the familiar tightening in my chest, being turned into a story someone else controlled. I didn't correct him. I didn't defend myself. Silence had become my reflex, not from weakness, but from exhaustion at explaining a life no one understood. What no one knew was this wasn't just dinner for me. It was a test of how long I could sit in a room built to exclude me, and what would happen if someone noticed the cracks. My name came last in success talks, not celebrated, just a footnote no one read. That night wasn't new, it was louder. As Nathan discussed future plans, my parents leaned in, nodding. My father embellished turning achievements into heroic tales. My mother smiled, presenting a perfect family. Occasionally, they glanced my way, reminding me I was barely part of it. Their words pulled me back. Months earlier, I'd seen photos online from a gathering at my parents' house. Networking, drinks on the patio, people in tailored jackets by the pool. I wasn't invited. When I asked my mother, she sounded surprised I'd noticed. It was technical, I didn't want you uncomfortable. Exclusion as kindness, then the holiday barbecue. Heat, charcoal smell, bending paper plates. I'd been talking near the fence when my father's voice rose, bragging about Nathan, business and legacy. Then he laughed about me with amusement. People smiled awkwardly. Someone patted my arm like I'd lost something. Back at dinner, Nathan lifted his glass. Not everyone takes the traditional route. His eyes flicked to me, a reminder, a line drawn. I felt pressure in my ribs and the urge to speak sharply. Instead, I breathed slowly and folded my hands tighter. Reacting gave them control. Silence belonged to me. The worst weren't jokes, it was offers. Nathan called before dinner, voice concerned. "Need help buying something appropriate? Don't want you embarrassed." I was the problem to manage. At the table, my mother leaned to Claire, discussing my future like an inconvenience. Stability, someone to take care of me. Her hand on my shoulder, light but possessive. Something shifted. I didn't look up. I focused on my heartbeat, steady, controlled. All those nights working alone, calls from different time zones, and decisions without approval. They thought quiet meant uncertainty, and patience meant dependence. Claire wasn't smiling. She watched, really watched. For the first time, I sensed the story about me was running out of room. I didn't flinch when my mother's hand lingered. I didn't look at Nathan when he nodded like my future was resolved. Outwardly, I stayed calm. Inside, truth settled. My life wasn't uncertain. It didn't look like theirs. While they hosted dinners talking growth and reputation, my days blurred, early mornings to nights. The apartment is quiet except for the laptop hum and buzz of calls. Progress in confirmations, signed documents, cleared payments. We're moving forward. No applause, just momentum. I never talked about it, not from shame but necessity. Work demanded silence. Agreements were fragile. One word could undo months. When family offered help, I declined. Underestimation was safer than correction. That night, as conversation flowed, I realized they'd mistaken restraint for weakness. They saw my rented apartment as failure and simple clothes as surrender, not the discipline to live quietly, building without distractions. Nathan leaned back, satisfied. My father ordered another round. My mother planned holidays and who sat where. They were certain. I felt the shift before words. Claire stopped engaging in family stories. Her gaze returned to me, thoughtful, focused. She watched pauses, my choice not to speak. I'd seen that look on calls where assumptions were shattered. I breathed deeper, not for rescue or validation, but understanding control doesn't announce itself. Sometimes it waits. Dinner continued, but balance changed. Parents still performing, Nathan confident. Tension grew like a wire pulled tight. I stayed seated, silent, not from having nowhere else to be, but from knowing when to stand. The server brought drinks. My father raised his glass to family and new beginnings. Everyone echoed except me. I lifted mine a beat later, blending in. I'd survived by staying behind. Nathan launched into plans, bigger house, responsibilities, future. He spoke unquestioned. Parents polished sentences, and Lauren, my father added, waving. She's always been independent. Paused deliberately. My mother laughed softly. She does things her own way. We want her secure. The world is hard. I felt the reflex to shrink and kept my eyes on the table. Wood grain, faint scratch. Claire didn't look away. She tilted her head, studying. Then calmly, Lauren, what exactly do you do? Direct, not filler. Before I answered, Nathan chuckled. It's complicated. Some tech thing. Experimenting. My father, let's try. Tough space. Heat in my neck. Still nothing. Claire, what kind of platform? The table was quiet and unfamiliar. Parents shifted. Nathan cleared his throat. She's modest, my mother said, touching my arm. Doesn't like talking. Claire leaned in, voice lower. Logistics related. I looked up and said yes. One word, steady. Her eyebrows lifted. Global? I nodded. Nathan laughed loudly. See, vague. Claire ignored. Supply chain optimization? Pulse slowed. Yes. Silence thickened. She exhaled. Wait. She stopped. Effect immediate. Conversation died. Glasses paused. My father frowned. What is it? Irritation. Claire straightened. Lauren Hayes, you're the founder, aren't you? No one spoke. I nodded small. Nathan's sound. Not a laugh, not a gasp. Founder of what? He demanded. She didn't answer. She pulled the phone, tapped and turned it. Headline. Industry article. Analysis, numbers, and investor quotes praising anonymous founder. She slid it center. One of the most watched platforms. Quiet launch. Strong traction. International. My father squinted. My mother's smile is gone. We've tried getting a meeting for months, Claire continued. No press, just results. Nathan shook his head. That's not. Stopped. No one listening. Claire to Nathan. You wanted me to meet visionaries, didn't expect one across from me. Room frozen. My mother's hand slid off like it was burned. Mouth opened, closed. My father. Why didn't you tell us? Confusion dulled the edge. I sipped water and set it down carefully. You never asked. Nathan stood abruptly, chair scraping. Ridiculous. We'd know if it were true. Claire. The point was you didn't. Nathan's expression cracked. Not anger but fear. Restaurant noise crept back. Our table was isolated. People stared and whispered. I felt detached, calm. I didn't hide to prove anything, I said steadily. I hid because I didn't need approval. My father swallowed. My mother stared at the tablecloth, fingers clenched. I stood, smoothed the napkin and placed it beside the plate, ceremonial. I should go, glancing at Claire. Nice meeting you. She nodded, respect clear. I didn't look at family. As I walked out, silence followed. Not dismissal, but heavy and earned. I didn't rush outside. Night air cooled like a reset. Walked a block, stopped. The phone buzzed, ignored. I'd imagined shouting or apologies. Instead, nothing. Heavier. Days later, silence held. No messages, no texts. When my mother called, voice unsteady, she asked questions about regaining footing. I answered politely and briefly. No filling gaps. Nathan never reached. Heard the engagement dinner retold awkwardly, edited for pride. I let it. I didn't need credit. I needed distance. Lightness surprised me. I stopped carrying expectations. Work continued. Calls, decisions, and progress. Nothing changed there. What changed? Quiet inside, no bracing, no urge to prove to decided minds. Resolution isn't always reconciliation. Sometimes clarity is knowing where you end and opinions begin. I didn't lose family. I lost my shrinking self. Didn't miss her. Acceptance from family wouldn't make me whole. Understanding myself did more than their table seat. That night didn't change me. It revealed me. If you've been underestimated by those supposed to see you best, you're not alone. Drop a like if this hit home. Subscribe to join the circle of stories that empower, and comment below what helped you stand your ground. Share your spot on the map too. Let's connect through the silence that speaks volumes.